Champion Hurdle is the next one. Sizing Europe. Spoke to Henry de Bromhead this morning at the races. He sounded pretty upbeat. Well, you have to, really. He is the form horse. Who's going to kick this one off? Matt, you can start again. You're in good voices, so I might wear you out a bit.
Yeah, I've got to be careful here, because the actual phrase is coming to mind with Sizing Europe, because it's a very apt one, but I'm not going to say it. He's an improving horse, David. Look, he brings the best recent form to the race, but for me, he beat a pensioner in Hardy Eustace and a 2.5 miler in Anna, and Lunaire wasn't that far behind, and you wouldn't fancy Lunaire at all in this race. So I don't think he's absolutely bomb-proof. So Bob, I know you went to see Sublimity this week. I've gone to see Sublimity this week as well, and it's extraordinary experience going to John Carr's stable, because you've got like cattle this side. And
how were you doing there?
Just went to give him a bit of a hug, just to make sure he was. Well, I've heard all these rumours. David Duggan's been going around the Irish previews telling everyone he's bursting blood vessels.
Did you get the feeling of it all's well or not?
Well, having gone from hero last year with John Carr, David Duggan is now villain, because the only danger to Sublimity is John Carr's son, who is an absolute hooligan and keeps running up to the horse and screaming at it and making it run round the field. So his son is 6 and he is certifiably mad. He is a hooligan. He's got this, if you're posh and you've got a huge lawn, you get a little tractor out to mow it. Well, he's got one of these without the engine, and he just rams it straight into Sublimity's box with Sublimity in the box.
He is a savage. And I was talking to Mrs. Carr, and she was, I say, you're coming over to the Champion Hurdle, so we can't leave him behind. I think you just chain him up with plug him in. He's a nice boy.
Yeah, he is a nice boy. but it's a serious danger to Sublimity's chance. John's absolutely adamant this horse is as good as he was last year. He is a lightly raced horse. He's going to race, he says, more next year. He gallops with a horse called Kong, who a lot of you will remember. In fact, a lot of you will think, I didn't even know Kong would still exist. Well, he was second favourite for the Derby once upon a time, Kong, with John Dunlop. He gallops with this horse, but Kong was a stare on the flat. He's knocking Kong into touch, but what that quite means, I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how. He works it over a mile and a 6, which of course none of our trainers would do. They'd all work it over 3 and 4 and 5 furlongs. But I think it's ready, and perhaps more importantly, Philip Carberry thinks Sublimity is back to his best. And both years he's run at the festival, before he was 4th in the Supreme, and before the Champion Hurdle, Carberry was the man who said to John Carr, this horse is ready. And Carberry has said again he thinks it's ready. I hate Archibald. I hate him with a venom, because I think he's definitely got the ability to win.
You don't want to go through them all, are you?
No, just Archibald. I've got to mention it. He's a horrible horse, isn't he? But I love him on the flat. He's a flat horse.
If the ground was on the lively side, you could see Archibald running a big race, couldn't you?
Oh, God.
Or not?
I ended up on psychiatrist's couch after he got beaten at Cheltenham 2 years ago.
Couch on couch.
Finished me off, honestly. Biggest bet of my life, and I couldn't believe he wouldn't go past. So I was standing along doing oi oi, getting ready. The next thing everyone saying, oh, you fat fucker, has got beat. I've never felt so embarrassed. I was in a Bangkok brothel winning enough money to play the two sisters. I went home shattered on both occasions. Getting back to this, every which way you look at the form book and everything, it's only one horse can possibly win, isn't it? Size in Europe, even the Sublimity. You look at last year's Champion Hurdle, where it's beaten Hardy Eustace a couple of lengths. Size in Europe's annihilated it over in Ireland. And I spoke to a couple of the jockeys and over in Ireland, they said they couldn't believe how fast Size in Europe, especially Conor O'Dwyer. He said I was going as fast as I could on Hardy Eustace, and he went by me and Conor said, "What the fuck's that thing gone past? It was an aeroplane." The people that complained about he jumps the hurdles too high, that don't bother me. I'd rather that than fucking lying on their arse looking at the stars, to be honest with you.
How about Asana finished second to Sizing Europe back in the...
Again, he finished second to it, and one thing about Asana, I was told there was some coughing in pipe shafts, and he didn't run in the Kingwell hurdle. Of course, getting messages out of fucking pipe shafts, like getting messages from the KGB.
It's very un-Pike-like behaviour, isn't it, to left him on the sidelines for so long?
Again, Robert, I was told there was coughing in the yard. I don't know whether Asana coughed or not. You put 2 and 2 together. Why did he not run? There was nothing mentioned before. Suddenly, Asana's like going to run in the Kingwell, and then typical with a pipe yard, all of a sudden, for no reason whatsoever, it misses the Kingwell, and they come out with some cocking ball stories. They're going to run it fresh like they did with Granville again. They should be on Jack and Norrie, shouldn't they, really? None of us believe that. I don't believe it anyway. And Size in Europe beat it for me fair and square. There went Osana won the Beulah. Paddy Brennan nicked 20 lengths at the start while the other jockeys were sitting there tossing each other off.
Or just...
Talking about sublimity, I was told when I was over in Ireland, a friend of mine who rides work there said they had this Hoover down Sublimity's throat, and apparently, like, afterwards it couldn't speak for a week, so ordered two, one for the wife, one for the fucking mother-in-law.
One for a 6-year-old son as well. Andrew.
I think size in Europe's a good thing for this. 9-4 might not sound too enticing now, but it'll look pretty big when he comes there swinging off the bridle around the home turn. He annihilated them in the Irish Champion. It was Denman-esque the way he won that. There was only going to be one winner from a long way out. I think he's a good thing for this. Hartlepool, I will put you off backing him each way. It's 7-1 with Corals. 7-4 the place is pretty big. But again, I want to try and sell the win part back in running it around the even money mark. Because again, twice he's run at the festival, twice he's got beaten after travelling strongly in this race a couple of years ago, and then the county hurdle before that when he was 5th. So size in Europe for me, Archibald the Danger.
Kieran, I was reading in this is the Aintree version actually, the Cheltenham version that Paul Jones has done. Get the Aintree one, it's excellent. But the Timeform view of Sublimity's win last year, that it was one of the poorest championing performances for many a year.
I think that's the key point, and I mean Matt's made the point, maybe Sublimity is back to his best, but our view is that best is nowhere near good enough. You just can't see how you can have two champion hurdles in a row where there's so little strength in depth. We've been racing jumpers for about 40 years. That'd be probably one of the worst 3 champion hurdles ever. The race completely fell apart for him. I don't think he'll actually get up the hill with anything actually staying on. We make it a 2-horse race between Size in Europe and Osana. I take on board Couch's vibes about Osana, but I think that the price has slightly gone with Size in Europe. I think the bet for me, you can back Osana to place the same price as you can back Size in Europe to win. I think they're the 2 horses on the upgrade, everything else is on the downgrade. I think 2-1 Osana to place is huge, they're the 2. From that Greywood form, I think that's way better than any other 2 mile in form, but Sublimity, you're absolutely right, Robert, we cannot have him for love nor money.